Hello
Hello.
everyone. Hi guys. Welcome to today's webinar. How are you today,
I guess I'll
Seth?
go there. I'm doing okay. I'm getting hungry because it's my lunchtime. My lunchtime is now, and here we have a lovely hour that we will be talking about food. I'm going to be very hungry at the end of this, I think.
Yeah. I this is my first lesson of the day and I have two more
Ah,
after. So I actually had my lunch very early today. So I made some lunch for myself and I wolfed it down and uh
a
I think
very
we can say
appropriate thing to add. Yes.
yes, yeah, I'm just going to throw that in actually. Yeah, to wolf, as you guys will know about a wolf, the animal. So you imagine that they eat a lot, they eat fast, they eat aggressively. So in English, I mean technically I guess it's a phrasal verb, right? To wolf down, it's a
The wolf
phrasal
down. It
verb.
would be.
Yeah, kind of idiomatic phrasal verb we could call it. Yeah, it just means in English if you eat something very quickly. So I had this lesson at 1 o'clock, so I was cooking at around 12:30 and then I had to eat very quickly, so I had to wolf down my lunch.
Hmm. Hmm. What did you eat? Your favorite? Did you have something wonderful?
I,
Make
I
me
actually
jealous.
I made myself, yeah, I made myself some pasta, kind of just invented, but I think with a very Sicilian flavor, I would say. I added, let me think, because this is good for vocabulary. I added some chopped garlic, some chili flakes,
Mm.
some a couple of little anchovy fillets, some fennel seeds,
Mm.
some capers, and some parsley. Oh,
Ah.
and some tomato concentrate.
Oh, nice. It's kind of like a
So
puttanesca.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's a kind of puttanesca. I think just maybe missing the olives. I guess I didn't have any
Yeah,
black olives,
yeah.
but yeah, it was kind of a puttanesca, I guess. Yeah,
It's a little bit difficult in these days with cooking because when you run out of something, it's not just a quick jump over to the grocery store to get
I
it.
know. Oh my god. I know, and it's really strange because Anna and I we live 100 meters away from a big Esselunga, but like you say, it's no longer just I'll just nip over, I'll just pop over. No, it's okay. I'm gonna go recreate life in the Soviet Union and queue
Yeah,
up for
and
45 minutes.
prepare my document that allows me to walk outside and go to the groceries. It's a lot of
Yeah,
doing for something that doesn't take long.
exactly. And carry my ID. Just make sure I bring my identification. And I
Yeah.
think things that Seth. I don't know if you've had this. Have you ever had to explain to any Italians that we don't carry ID cards?
I haven't. Thank you. First, before we go on,
Oh,
Giuseppe.
hi.
Thanks, you guys. Please, because at this. Oh wait, food for thought. This is supposed to be. Did I put the wrong thing up? Tongue twi I have 10 to 13. This should be masterclass. I think I opened the wrong thing.
That's all right.
Um,
Just
but we could still use it. Yeah, we'll just. But you guys, if you're there, please, you know, participate as much as you can. If you have a comment, add it in, and we will grab it and incorporate it into our conversation the best we can. So,
we will
um,
absolutely, and we want to know where
yeah,
you're from and your names and everything like that.
I recognize these guys. They were in a the last masterclass I did last week. I think. Nice to
Yeah,
see all of you.
and to see you all,
No, but
guys.
you were asking about because it's kind of an interesting thing. Yeah, in the United States, we don't have any sense of obligation to carry an ID card with us.
Mm.
And it has never happened to me, never, where a policeman would ask for something. And even like for us, our driver's license it contains everything. It's our official
Mm,
ID card. So, um, but yeah, like
yeah.
here, what is the carta d'identità? We don't have anything like
Yes.
that. So,
I know, and it's also, I mean, in the United Kingdom, and I think in America as well. It, I think we can both imagine if any government tried to introduce ID cards, we would all, we would riot in the streets. We would
we
say
all would.
it's like 1984. It's George Orwell. It's the Gestapo. We would
Yeah.
probably get very angry.
Yeah, even thinking about that right now with coronavirus, my mom is in the United States. It's because up until last week, the United States was not really talking about it. I found it very interesting that from last week, before, no one had been asking me like what's happening in Italy, because America is quite insulated in this way, where if something's not happening to the United States specifically, a lot of people don't care. Maybe they don't care, but they're not concerned. And
Mm,
last week, when things began happening in Seattle, Washington,
mm.
so many people, every morning I would wake up with two or three different people. Seth, oh my gosh, the news, it's so crazy. How are you? And I think, like, we're already in week 3 of this. Like, where were you before this? But
Yes, I know. I think people across the world, and in particular in Europe and America, are looking at Italy as the crystal ball. They want to know what's
mhm,
coming,
yeah,
because unfortunately Italy has been very badly affected in comparison to most other European countries. Seth, I just realised we haven't really introduced ourselves to these
it's
guys,
true. I
so
realized that too.
so I'm gonna say, I'll just say very quickly, guys, and I'll put it up here so you can all see. My name is Liam, and I'm one of the teachers at Myers Meravigli.
Mhm.
I'm 30 years old, and I'm from Manchester in the United Kingdom. And I've lived here in Milan for just over 2 years now, and I've lived in Italy itself for about 3 years.
Nice. And I'll do the same thing that you just did. I am Seth. I'm 37. I'm from Ohio in the United States, and I've been here about 3.5 years.
Mm.
So, yeah, we're
And
starting to have some people say stuff. So, like
yeah,
Giuseppe saying in the States, it's true. And I keep telling people, like, every time my mother calls me, because she calls me right now even more than she usually does, and it's like this constant update. Seth, you need to do this. You need to do this. And I'm like, Mom, we've already been doing it. Like, and it is a big deal. I mean, it is, but it's not, some of the things. Well, it's interesting because where Italy was a month ago, the United States is there now. So this right now they're still in that initial phase of like, oh my gosh, the virus, where all of us now are just like, when can we go outside? So
yeah, it's old news to us now, isn't it? It's
yeah.
like, tell us something we don't know. Alessandra says, Alessandra says in USA. So Alessandra, in the just a little thing, in the USA or in the US, it appears they continue buying
Well,
weapons.
that's another
Um,
conversation.
I, but it is true. Have you seen, Seth, that there has been a sharp increase in the
Really?
purchase
No.
of guns?
Oh,
Yes,
geez.
yeah. There's been. I think people. I don't think people are thinking apocalyptically. I think it's possibly people are being paranoid and they're thinking, oh, if someone comes to my house to steal food, if
Yeah.
there's a food shortage, which there won't be. I mean, it's you know. I know we all don't have a lot of confidence in our governments, but they do, they do prepare for these types of things, and the food supplies, they keep going. But it's
Yeah.
true, yeah. Who's this? We got Giuseppe. He was just introducing himself, a former Masterclass student in Myers Verona.
Very nice. Nice to see you, Giuseppe. Welcome, welcome.
Nice to see.
And Clara. Hi,
Yeah, and
Clara.
just to confirm, guys, this is a masterclass webinar. We just selected this focus because basically, if Seth and I are going to talk at a masterclass level, we kind of decided food was the best topic,
Food
right?
always works. Food always works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Giuseppe says, yesterday I talked with a colleague of mine from New Jersey, maybe, and I felt from his words that the situation begins to turn to deadly, to critical.
Yeah, to critical.
Yeah.
The difficulty is something interesting. I was talking to my sister is, like here in Italy, we we have the decree to stay home, but they do have these allowances to go out, as long as you have
Yes.
your document. But like my sister was telling me that for them, because the United States, ever since 9/11, the United States created like a system of alerts for the nation. And so she said right now in her area, in her county, so it's like the states are divided into smaller pieces called counties. So in her county, and I think actually most of the nation is at a level 3 alert. And in a level 3 alert, you're not allowed, you're not supposed to, you are not allowed to drive your car. And if you drive your car, they will, because our police are a bit more on top of things. They will stop you and say, "Why are you driving?" And at this point, they don't have. I think they need to create, but they don't have any sort of allowance to go to the grocery store. And so my sister lives in a very, very rural county. So there are very few people driving anyways, but she's kind of concerned about, like, at this point, the local government has not made any sort of statements about how do we go to the grocery store. And so she presumes and she's confident that those things will be taken care of. But right now, she doesn't know how to go get food. And I mean, she has what she needs and things, but it's just things that the way that right now that many local governments in the United States are organized, it's just like you can't go out. And
Yeah. I think it's actually analogous to here in Italy, where when you have a federal system like the United States and Italy, where there's a lot of autonomy in each region. So say whether it's the state of California or the region of Lombardy, there's a lot of space and scope for that region's government to make decisions themselves or to interpret decisions how they would prefer. Whereas where I come from in the UK, traditionally we've been a very centralized system. It's not everything. There are some things that are devolved to Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, but for a lot of things, especially when it comes to national security, it's pretty much what London says it goes for the rest of the country. Maybe that's just historically to do with power always being concentrated there, and we don't have a written constitution, we don't have a federal system, etc., etc.
Yeah, my mom has said that it's causing problems now because especially, everyone has the internet. It's very easy for people to find information online, but people are reading decrees from other states, because so the different states, depending on how severe the outbreak is in each individual state, some states have quite severe restrictions and things about going out and whatever. And so some people are getting very upset, but they're reading decrees from other states and it doesn't apply to them.
And it doesn't even apply to them. All right, but that's enough doom and gloom. Let's try and stay kind of positive.
Let's go to food, because food always, especially you and I, right?
Absolutely. Eating it, cooking it, reading about it, talking about it, you name it.
Yeah. So here, a lot of these will probably be familiar to you guys, but we're going to try and push them maybe to one more level out of how we use them when we use them, and even more because we can come up with we have a lot of food idioms in English. So, and you guys at home, again, please feel free to tell us anything you want. Participate in we've got some nice stuff. So please share away.
And ask questions, guys. No question is too small. Don't think like, you're embarrassed to ask a question. Please, it's a really good opportunity to confirm anything you're not sure about. Okay. Yeah. Oh my God.
This is like the
Okay.
$1 million question.
Yes. So when someone asks you a question like this, where it's so difficult to answer, isn't it, Seth?
It's too big.
We,
It's
we'll
too big a question.
Yes, exactly. And we'll often say in response to a question like this, sorry, the tick has been a bit slow. Hang on. Yeah, we'll often say in response to that, where to begin. Okay. And
Where?
where to be, it's that kind of almost like you're exasperated, like where to begin. There's just so many different. I mean, Seth, maybe picking one favorite recipe, is that possible?
See, the first thing I think is we have to specify. So, are we talking Italian? Are we talking Lombard? Because I would even be so specific as to go there. Are we talking about things from our own countries? Um, Giuseppe, it's making
Yeah.
making gnocchi, by the way, making gnocchi.
Yes. Making
So,
gnocchi. Yeah, exactly. That's and he's very good at making gnocchi. Lovely. I love gnocchi.
mhm. We have
But
to go to
my
Giuseppe's house once we're
favorite,
allowed to go out.
absolutely, party at Giuseppe's place. But yeah, Seth, I agree. I think when we talk about favorite, excuse me, favorite recipe, we have to be more specific, as you say. Is it breakfast? Is it lunch? Is it dinner? I don't know. Is there something that you're making a lot at the moment, Seth? Is there one recipe you find yourself going back to quite a bit, or do you like to really keep it varied?
I would say because I do really enjoy cooking. Um, so I'm always trying um, different things. I am a very, very big I love Giallo Zafferano here in Italy. I use that website a lot to find recipes. So I'm always trying new things, but I really love the variety of food in Italy, and like the regional is the regionalness of cooking here, because my country doesn't have that. And but I would say though that because my partner is Roman, and for this reason, I am becoming very good at preparing certain Roman dishes. And for me, coming from my partner being Roman, and he often tells me that my carbonara is becoming quite. I'm getting good with carbonara and la gricia and my cacio e pepe. So I feel very proud of myself that I am perfecting my Roman pasta skills. So,
Right, excellent. And those are hard, because I think cacio e pepe, very simple recipe, but very hard to get right, I find.
yeah, it's true. It's true. And he actually, about 2 years ago, he bought me for Christmas this cookbook. I'm looking at it over on the shelf. That's where I'm gesturing to. But I think
Yes.
it's called like the Il Ricettario Regionale or something. And it's this old cookbook. From what I understand, it would be like in America, we have the Betty Crocker cookbook, which is like
Ah,
this
yes. Or
standard.
Mrs.
Yeah,
Beaton's Book of Recipes in England.
yeah, and oftentimes when my friends come over, if my Italian friends, I pull out this book and they say, "Oh my gosh, my grandma had that," or something. So, so I'm using that to also expand my repertoire. And because we have so much time for cooking at home right now, I am slowly working my way through the Lazio section, and we've been eating lots of. Um, it's kind of cool because I mean, some of the things. Yesterday we ate this pasta that's called nocciata, and the
Mm.
sauce. You might really like this because of your veganness. The sauce
Yes.
is super easy too, but the sauce is not even the right word to use. The topping. It's chopped up walnuts with the
Mm.
lemon peel, sugar, and a little bit of cinnamon, and it was really really good. It was really good.
How? Yes, and that sounds great. I actually, do you know what? You just reminded me, Seth. Funny, you said it. I added some chopped walnuts that I had left over from a previous recipe to my lunch. I had some chopped walnuts that I fried in olive oil, garlic, and chili flakes that I added.
Okay,
But that
nice.
recipe sounds fascinating. You said
I'll
cinnamon, walnut, and lemon peel.
and a little bit of sugar, and then you stirred
See, that's
that, and when you
yeah.
add the pasta, the sugar melts a bit. And it smelled wonderful, and I was just really surprised when we ate it that because it's kind of strange, but it became sort of a like a sweet and sour kind of thing. It was really
Yes, I
nice.
was going to say it sounds very Byzantine. That sounds like a very kind of
Yeah.
Eastern Roman Empire recipe. The use of cinnamon and sugar, that sweet and sour thing, sounds like a very. That I think that recipe is probably very, very old.
It could be. It's possible. Yeah. Yeah. It was nice
When
though.
is the when was and this book that you mentioned? How old is this book? Do you know roughly when it was published?
I think it's maybe from like the 40s and 50s. But
Okay,
the
so
recipes,
post-war.
yeah, but the recipes are already from that period looking back at a previous
Yeah,
generation.
right,
So
right.
and it even often talks about, I have to ask my boyfriend a lot, like what is this thing? Because even today, like for example, today in Italian cooking, they often use the soffritto when you begin
Yeah.
cooking. And in this book, they don't use it. And like, or the recipe will say chop a carrot, chop an onion, chop some celery, but it does, in a modern recipe, it just says, prepare your sofrito. So I think that idea of the sofrito is something, as a cooking idea, maybe a
Interesting.
little new. Yeah, it's been
How
fun.
how interesting. That's really
Yeah.
interesting. We've got some other contributions here.
Oops, sorry.
Clara says that she loves making arancini.
Ugh.
And yeah, these are oh, I love arancini. They're one of my favorite snacks.
I think
Absolutely
it's
delicious.
difficult. No, Clara, it seems to me like that would be a difficult thing to make, a time-consuming
Yeah,
process. But
and is it? Well, I read, and Clara, please, you can confirm this, that arancini started as a way of using up leftover rice or leftover risotto. That you would just shape it, cover it in breadcrumbs, and fry it. It was a good way to use up, like so much good Italian food. It was peasant food, a way to avoid waste, for example.
yeah. And I think I've heard
Uh,
that by looking at the way that Clara, because there's the war in Sicily of the arancini and the arancine, and I believe that if Clara has written arancini, that means she's from Palermo, I think.
ah, okay. Um, Wait, sorry, Giuseppe's got a question. Liam, you said before lemon peo or something similar. I know you meant the peel.
Manchester.
Yeah, lemon peel. Yeah,
Accent.
maybe I was
This
just
is
talking. Maybe I
accent.
was. Maybe, yeah, yeah. Giuseppe, I promise you, yes, I meant lemon peel. Lemon peel. Maybe that was just, I was getting too excited and speaking quickly. Alessia says, I really like making lasagna. Oh, well, who doesn't?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And guys, just to explain, I think, Seth, we in the English speaking world, we are the one area of Italian vocabulary that we all know is food, isn't it? We use
Yes.
we don't translate the names of these classical dishes into English. If you go to an Italian restaurant in London, in Sydney, in New York, and it's on the menu, it's going to say spaghetti alla vongole. They're not going to translate it in the title, are they?
Probably not. I mean, where I'm from a kind of backwoods area. People are not. It's not actually in Ohio, where I'm from. People, when the word Italian, so the adjective, people where I'm from say Italian.
Italian, an
So
Italian
like
treat.
my friends, when I talk, they'll say like, "Oh, Seth, how's your Italian?" Referring to the language that I speak, and I say, "Oh, it's Italian," but yeah. But no, it's true that usually foods. So even like this lasagna, we would use wouldn't we? I really like making
Yeah,
lasagna.
we would say lasagna. Yeah, we would say lasagna. Oh, and Clara says that's right, Liam. We were talking about the arancini as the leftovers. Yeah, it takes 2 days. Oh my god.
Well, because the first day you have to make your rice, and then the second day you have to make your arancini, right?
I know.
Nice.
It was like before Christmas. I thought about trying my hand at panettone, but I looked at the
Oof.
recipe and it said day 4. I just
Yeah,
thought, okay.
exactly. Exactly. in my
No,
cookbook,
thank
my
you.
old cookbook that I've talked about, the most of the recipes, there's maybe like 3 recipes per page, because these recipes are written
Uh-huh.
in a way, they're even written in like, grandma style, where it doesn't say like 100 grams of this. It just says enough flour, salt. However,
Okay.
it's very just like, eh,
So,
but these
so
very short
just
recipes. Go ahead.
no, sorry. I was sorry. There was a lag. I thought you'd finished speaking, and I was just going to say those recipes that they assume you know what you're doing.
Exactly. Knead the pasta until it feels right. What does
Yeah.
that mean?
Yeah. What does that mean?
But no, the panettone is 2.5 pages. So I am
Oh
with
my
you. I was
god.
like, it's hard. My gosh. But
Very hard. And so Clara Seth has answered your question about the arancine and arancini.
oh, I was wrong. Sorry, Clara. Opposite.
Wait, so what's she say? Arancini from Catania, arancine from Palermo. I'm from Agrigento, so the name doesn't matter. The most important thing, I agree. I agree,
Perfect,
Clara.
Clara. Thank you
Most
for
important
being
thing.
open and not
Thank
continuing
you.
the war.
Yeah, so guys,
Nice.
just to say, we're talking about idioms today. We've got some phrases. So we talked about try my hand at,
Mhm.
revisit or go back to something. We've got where to begin, but I think Seth, is it on the next page? We've got some food idioms, or is it on this page? Sorry, because I
Yeah,
can't see
we
the
can jump. There they are. Yeah. So
slides.
I have a
Here we go.
feeling these two probably you guys know already, but to say something is your piece of cake, meaning that it's very easy.
Yeah,
That exam was a piece of cake.
yeah.
And the next one, your cup of tea. I have to say, honestly, in my English, my American English, we don't use cup of tea very much because we drink
I
coffee.
have to say that yeah, I have to say that, and I have to say that as someone who was born and grew up in England, I, I mean, I must have said it, but it's not a phrase I use a lot. I feel like it maybe in the past it was used more, but I feel like now it's one of those that's almost stereotypical. It would be like watching, expecting Americans to say something's rad or something. It just would feel a bit forced, like you were trying to be American or trying to be English. Um,
And I would
as
feel,
just to
yeah, if
say,
I said cup of tea, I would probably put a stupid, I would probably say, oh, it's not my cup of tea, because I would try to sound British when I said it.
Seth does specialize in English accents. I should say he does a
I
wonderful.
do.
And just to say, guys, as well, in addition to say that something's a piece of cake, you can also describe something as being easy as pie, which is
Mhm.
basically the same thing.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, very
And speaking
good.
of pie, we have another, I would imagine, especially English, American rather expression, that we will say that something is American as apple pie, because in
Ah,
America we have
yes.
this idea that apple pie is a very American dessert. We have lots of apples here. And if something is, usually we would use this about maybe a person who is representing the United States, or it's a way to show pride in being American, to say, like, oh, John is as American as apple pie. He's a real good American. So it's pretty common, I would say.
That's a
I
good
don't feel
one.
like I would
I like that
use
one.
it about my current president, but but that's another topic for another day. So,
Yeah, that'll be the politics masterclass, guys.
yes,
Tune in at a
yes.
later date. All right. So, guys, yeah, as always, if you've got any questions about these, or if you want to, in other webinars we've done, people have, written some examples. They've said, this type of food is not my cup of tea, or I did an exam and it was a piece of cake. So, if you want to try your hand at some examples, please let us know.
Yeah, I would also encourage you guys, like, if you're thinking in Italian of, because some of these phrases work in both languages and stuff, or if you have, share with us, translate your Italian food phrases into English, because that's kind of fun just to share those things, because Italy is a land of food, so there's certainly tons of expressions, I'm sure, that you guys have. And we'll look at a
Absolutely.
few more as we continue. So I'm going to
Uh,
click
Alice,
forward.
and just while Seth clicks through, Alessandra has got
Uh-huh.
bad apples. That is a very good one. So, Alessandra, I'm assuming you know, but I'll just explain to everyone else. Bad apples is an expression we use when you have a group of people and the majority of them are good people or they behave well. But then if you have a few bad apples, that means that a minority, a small group of them, do not behave well. Okay, so let's say, for example, we're talking about the quarantine situation here in Italy. We could say the majority of the people are following the rules, they're doing what they've been told, etc. But there are a few bad apples who, they insist on going out, they're trying to have parties, etc., like that.
That makes me think of a similar one, but a good egg and a bad egg. We often will refer to a person. A good egg, if you think about an egg, is hard, but the inside is where the real part of the egg is. So a good egg is just a generally good person, a person who's good on the inside, kind, helpful, whereas a bad egg is the opposite. So someone who's just sort of intrinsically not a good person.
Clara says, okay, spill the tea. Now, I've heard this, and I think this is possibly quite a recent one, but I have to confess, I'm not very familiar with it. Seth, do you know what this means?
I think spilling the tea is I think is when you say things about people, because like I'm thinking spill the beans, and I'm totally going, I'm looking for it on my phone. I feel like this comes from like drag culture.
I do too. Is it like to gossip?
To spill the tea is tea has always stood for the word truth in drag culture. So to spill the tea is to tell the truth about something juicy. So yeah, so like it'd be similar to spilling the beans, but like actually in English we might just say even spill it, tell me.
Or to dish.
To dish, yeah, to spill the tea.
As a verb as well. That's more American, but to I've heard it. To dish, it means to gossip, to reveal some good gossip, for example.
And so maybe where
very good.
Confusing for us is that the tea is actually not tea. Tell me the truth. What's happening? And as a way of asking for gossip, spill the tea. Yeah.
But do you not think? Sorry,
a really cool show, you guys. If you want to watch, finish.
I was just going to say that maybe it has become spill the tea, the drink, and that's the idiom. Is that by tea has evolved into literally the tea. I don't know. For example,
it's possible too. Okay, Clara says she learned it in the Gossip Focus.
Okay.
Nice.
Nice.
I believe you then. But so you can see that even these things for us, I don't know what the tea is, but the meaning to gossip, to tell me the truth.
Because they evolve so quickly, don't they? These new idioms from television, from popular culture, they just appear so fast.
There's a TV show if you want to learn some crazy slang and really current expressions. It's called Pose on Netflix. It's a little crazy. It's about transvestites and drag culture in the 80s, but the language is fantastic. It's really fun to watch.
Yeah, I think it was a joint BBC HBO, a kind of Anglo-American collaboration. I've not seen it, but I've heard it's very good.
It's very good. Yeah, it's very good. It's cool. It's a really neat show and beautiful to watch too.
Excellent. And great music.
Yes, also. Oops, yeah. How about maybe for this next part, Liam, do you want to go through and just give us the connections? So to create the idiom, and if you guys at home,
sure.
So looking over at these words, if you guys know from these words, you can write them to us.
Yeah, please do. But yeah, I'll go through them. And yeah, absolutely, guys, feel free to contribute. So, cry and milk. So, this idiomatic expression in English is it refers to when something bad has happened and there is now nothing you can do to reverse or prevent the consequences. And so the expression is, we say, for example, it's no good or there's no use crying over. It's like a phrasal verb, to cry over. There's no use crying over spilt milk. Okay. And I think this idiom actually already exists in Italian. I'm pretty sure that they say this as well. So I think the meaning of that one is quite clear. Okay.
Nice, Alessandra.
Spill the very nice, Alessandra. That's a good one. We'll come back to that one as well because that's a good one. Spill the beans. Seth already mentioned that one, which is great because Seth mentioned that one before. Means to reveal a secret. Okay, and this could be a positive secret or a negative secret. It could be, some gossip that you have that's fun, or it could equally be that, the police are interrogating a criminal and they're shouting at him, "Come on, spill!" And it basically means to reveal the secret or the important information. Apple and I, this is a very sweet one. Seth mentioned apples before, for example, about American as apple pie. This is another apple one. It basically means that somebody is very, very important to you and that you have a great deal of affection for a person. I wouldn't say it's romantic. I feel like for me, it's more about, for example, the relationship between a parent and a child, or a grandparent and a grandchild. It's more love in the platonic or familial sense than romantic love. I would say it's about affection, for example. And the last one that Alessandra said, yes, a hard nut to crack. This refers to either a situation or a person that is very difficult if it's a situation, it's difficult to solve. So if it's a problem, for example, you say, oh, it's a hard, or in this case, a tough nut to crack. But again, it's also used with people. Again, in the context of, let's say, a police or a drama or film, they've got a very quiet, difficult prisoner who will not reveal any information, who will not tell them anything, is keeping totally silent. They're not intimidated. They're not scared. They refuse to spill the beans. So they would say, wow, this guy's a tough nut to crack.
Yeah. Tough nut, hard nut, same thing, right? Exactly.
Yeah, it's weird. I automatically said tough nut. I didn't even think about saying hard nut, actually.
Yeah. But they would be the same, yeah.
Totally, yeah.
I'm trying to think I have a feeling that we could probably think about nearly any food, and probably there is an expression that exists using it. There's so many things with this. Water.
Absolutely.
This one's not particularly water is a drink, but like water under the bridge. We have an expression to say when you've maybe had some sort of a fight or some difficult situation with a friend, and you want to just move on. You want to continue past you apologize to each other and you just want to continue on and put the situation behind you. You can say it's water under the bridge. It's moved on. We're fine.
It's a nice way to indicate to somebody that they don't need to worry, for example. Do you know this one, Seth, when you say that's a fine kettle of fish?
I've heard it, but I don't use it, and I don't know exactly.
No. I think it just means it's used ironically when it's a mild bad situation. So it would be, for example, if let's say you go to the supermarket and you want to buy pasta and all the pasta is sold out because of what's happening at the moment, and you would just say, oh, well, that's a fine kettle of fish. It's this just ironic way of saying it's not great.
It's not a good situation, yeah.
But not very common anymore, I think.
I thought of another one relating to the people who prepare the food. So too many cooks in the kitchen. So you can imagine if the cook, this happens at my house. My kitchen is small. There are only 2 people here, but the kitchen, it's difficult for both of us to be in the kitchen cooking. And so too many cooks in the kitchen just means there are too many people trying to organize or to work out a particular. You need one person to be in charge and tell everyone else what to do.
And
When there are
here's
too
the
many
British
cooks,
version. And here's, if you like, Seth, this may be the British version of the same
nice.
one. We say too many cooks spoil the broth, which is exactly the same. They're not different, guys. I've written same as above. And yeah, it just means it as an idiom, it means you only need maybe one or two people to solve a problem. You don't need everybody to be involved.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, well,
Okay,
we have on the
so
next slide. Some of these
what have we got here?
Yeah, go for it.
No, sorry. Again, the lag thing. I was just saying, I was asking you, what have we got here? As in, why don't you go ahead and explain this part?
Yeah, well, we have a few more. Good. Our lag seems to be quite long. But anyway, so a few of these we've seen already. The apple of her father's eye, the bad. So just basically an inherently bad person, someone who's just a bad person.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine everyone knows a couch potato. If you don't know what a couch potato is, probably you during the past few weeks have had moments where you have been a couch potato. The person
Yes.
who's on in front watching TV all day. What else? Crying over spilt milk. You talked about this. What's done is done.
Uh-huh.
Another common sort of idiomatic phrase that we use in English. What's done is done. We can't change that.
Yeah.
A cup of tea. So something we like. This is another one. Many people were egged on at the football match. So it's an interesting expression, because to egg someone on is to sort of encourage them, but in a negative way. So you're saying things to them to elicit a response, but you're trying to get them angry. You're trying to get some wild emotion. So
like it's to encourage or to goad somebody.
It's a nice word. That's not you. That's a beautiful word. But yeah, like children usually egg each other on, especially, like, oh, you don't know how to do that. You're so stupid. I'm trying to get you to react. I'm trying to get you to get angry or fight me or whatever. Hopefully as adults, we don't egg people on quite so much, but
I hope not. And with egg, I've just been reminded of another one. I feel like a lot of them are to do with eggs, which is this one. And again, Seth, I don't know if this is American as well, but we certainly say it in the UK. It's this one. Do you know this one? Okay, great. Okay. Yeah, to over egg the pudding just means do more than was necessary. Okay, so it just means that you do too much, you overdo something, because if you add too many eggs to a cake, for example, it's not going to taste good.
That made me think of another egg one.
Very good. Yes, very nice. You have to explain that one.
I don't. To be honest, this is when you're doing something and you don't realize it. No, I don't exactly know, to be honest.
No, it's when you humiliated yourself. You've embarrassed yourself. Because I think the idea is that maybe you've been eating and there's a piece of egg on your face and you walk around all day without realizing it, but everyone else can see it, and so they're laughing at you.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever used it, and I did understand it to mean that, but I've never used it because I think I didn't want to have egg on my face by using egg on your face in the wrong way.
Nice. Oh, I like it. I like that is some that is some meta English teaching right there.
But goodness, so many.
Yeah. Guys, again, just to our viewers and listeners, do you, for example, in Italian, do you have lots of idioms associated with eggs, or is this just an Anglosphere thing that we have, where we just like using eggs in our idioms?
It seems like eggs and apples. We have quite a lot with eggs and apples. Oh, I can hear you typing. We've got another one.
I have. Wow, is it that loud? I'm sorry. It must be my microphone's very sensitive. It's going to come up in a second. Just again, the comments box can be a little bit slow sometimes. Hang on. Here we go. That should be appearing now. It's this one.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, yeah, is one we use when basically it means that when you're doing something, a project or maybe a long process, it means that inevitably you might make mistakes on the way, or somebody might be annoyed by what you do. It just means that if you're doing something, it's never going to go perfectly. There's always going to be some kind of negative byproduct of your activity. Oh, Alessandra, excellent. Another very good one with eggs. Yeah, walk on eggshells. Yeah, this means that you're being very careful around somebody, that you're being very careful not to irritate or annoy or upset a person, for example.
Exactly. Walking
like
on
there's a
eggshells.
member, there's a member of my family who has an infamously short temper. And I remember once when someone said they were going to stay with her for a long weekend. And one other member of my family said, "Oh, be sure to bring enough eggshells with you to tread on."
Yeah. Oh God. I just feel the anxiousness in that comment. Like the most, like this uncomfortable weekend of
I know.
always having to double check what you're about to say. And, oh
exactly.
gosh.
Okay, Seth, there must be more idioms here. If we think of maybe non-egg related ones, because we've got about 3.5 minutes to go, or more or less.
Yeah.
There must be some other ones that we're not thinking of. Because we've got these ones down, I think.
Oh, nice examples here. So something with a pinch of salt. If you think about, so when we cook, I think in Italian it's quite similar, but often a recipe says to add a pinch of salt. So just a little bit of salt.
Yeah.
And if we look at the sentence, so Unique says with a pinch of salt, he's prone to, so the idea that the person's probably telling a little bit of truth. So you need to examine what's being said and find the truth inside of this exaggeration. So take it, and that's how we usually use it, to take it with a pinch of salt. So look carefully for what's being said. Do you want to do the next one?
Very good. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. To bring home the bacon. This basically means that you are the person who earns money, and in most cases, it means you're the person who earns the majority of the money in a relationship or in a family. Because I think it refers to a time when literally buying bacon or buying good quality pork would have been a sign of affluence or success. So the idea of being able to bring home the bacon means that you're making good money, and you're able to provide for your loved ones, for your family, your partner, etc., your children, for example.
Right. I'll do the next one because these are kind of fun.
Sure.
Half-baked.
These are fun. I like
so half-baked. You can imagine if you have something that's like you make a pie, but if it's only half-baked, it's not finished, and that's exactly what this means. So, my sister has a half-baked. So it's an idea that she has started to think about, but it's not a really good idea yet. It isn't a final idea. So sometimes we say this after the fact. So maybe we try something and it doesn't work, and we say, "Oh, well, that was a half-baked idea. Didn't quite work. Wasn't what we were expecting." So,
yeah. Next one, handed to him on a silver platter. So a platter is a serving dish. Okay, so in fine dining, it would be the usually quite large, maybe rectangular or oval serving dish that the dinner is presented to you or brought to you on. And it essentially means that you don't want to really do any work for anything. You want everything to be given to you with the minimal amount of effort on your own part. It's like your parents, for example, are always going, "Here you are, here you are, here you are," and you never need to work, contribute, help, etc.
Right. I'll just jump to the last one because we talked about number 5. So to butter someone up, is to you can imagine butter makes you fat, right? Butter makes you happy. So to butter someone up means to sort of prepare someone for something by saying nice things to them, by doing nice things for them, the sentence really helps. So my colleague spends too much time buttering up our boss promotion. So we might call this in English
So
also,
it's like
like
flattering him.
yeah, or kissing up. I think in my English we use kissing up.
Yeah, kissing up. Yeah,
But the same
that's
idea
exactly,
of
totally.
just because we want someone to like us, so we're always saying nice things to try and have them think of us in a positive way, probably because we want something from them.
Yes,
So
usually it's because you want something, definitely.
yeah.
All right, fantastic.
So
All right, Seth, thank you very much. This was so much fun.
yeah, it was. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for some of your comments. And again, I
Yes,
think tomorrow every day at 1:00 is the masterclass lesson.
I think
So
that's
keep on
right.
coming
Yeah,
back.
yeah,
Time to go
absolutely.
eat.
Keep your
We've been
comments
talking
coming,
about
keep
this
your
food.
questions. Absolutely. It's lunchtime, guys. All right, Seth, I will see you soon, and everyone else will see you
All
next
right.
time. Bye,
See you guys
guys.
later. Bye bye.